Hi guys, welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video. We're on to 2020 now. So, as you see in front of me, there's only 3 glasses. What the heck? What the heck, Bookers? It's supposed to be 4 releases per year. Well, the story is that one of the releases from 2020 had something wrong with it. It didn't live up to standards. They couldn't get a blend right. They just couldn't get it right. And so we have 3 batches, 01, 02, and 03. But the 03, the original 03, is the one that was the problem. So this 03 is actually supposed to be 04. So we never got our 03 release. And they just used the 03 labels and released 04 as the 03. And we only got 3 releases last year. So on top of 2020 being a pretty crappy year for other reasons, we only got 3 releases of Bookers. So the 03 is the only one of the 3 from last year that I actually tried. I had a hard time getting any of them last year. I finally found a 2020-01, but I only found one, so I bought it. And because I have been planning to do this for so long, I didn't open it. I wasn't going to open it until I found a second one, and then I never did. But it's funny, now I can find them. So annoying. The 02 Boston's batch, I've never had that one either. Same problem. And now I can find Boston's batch on the shelf. Now, in 2021. But I found one in 2020. And then for the 2020-02, I actually had to have a beautiful, beautiful man send to me. Sam Howland sent me this bottle specifically. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate the heck out of it. So I had 2 bottles. I had 2 different people send me bottles. The other one I drank, and this one I saved for this giant Booker's competition. So we're going to do the best of these 3, and then those 3 will join our 4 other winners, and then they're all going to go into a 6-way playoff with Booker's 30th, and figure out who's the best Bookers of the last 5 years. Because the first year was a little mix-up with different vintage ones that I was able to get my hands on. So let's dive into 2020 and see what we've got. I'm super curious because 2 of these, like I said, I've never had before. So I'm going to be giving you my very first impressions and notes on something I've never had before. So this is going to be fun. And then the 03 I have had before. So let's go to 01. This one is Granny's Batch, 6 years, 4 months, 21 days, 63.2% alcohol. Oh, hi. Granny's Batch is a little bit off profile, but off profile in a really nice way. It's like a spicy cinnamon loaf, like a cinnamon coffee cake. It's creamy, it's bready, like pastry bready, tons of cinnamon, tons of rye, hint of like hot chocolate, Maybe you like hot chocolate with the little marshmallows. Wow. Maybe even a touch of brownie batter. Cherry, vanilla. Very complex nose. Wow. Hint of citrus, like mandarin orange. Maybe spicier citrus, not quite mandarin, maybe like navel orange. Mandarins are really, really sweet. And this is more like the citrus note that kind of tickles your nose when you're peeling a navel orange. Wow. Oh, wow. Impressive. That's got a lot of chocolate on the palate. Very, very calm. Very easy to drink for a Booker's. Wow, super mild. Second taste, you get some more of the spice. You get the rye notes. A lot. The second taste is way spicier than the first. Still with the chocolate and rye and butterscotch, cherry, vanilla. A little bit drying. Interesting. Interesting. Because like the country ham makes your mouth water, and a couple of other winners really make your mouth water. And this one is more drying towards the end of the palate. Wow. Third sip, way more peanut than the first two sips. That peanut shell, peanut dust is really, really kicking up. You get a little hint of the corn. Wow, that's one of the most complex Booker's I've had in some time. Really interesting for a first taste of that. Wow. That one's impressive. That's funny that Booker's put together like three really good ones in a row. Country ham, Beaten Biscuits, and then, which were 2019, 3 and 4, and then 2020 01 is another top notch. That's really nice, really interesting. Interesting that it's really strange too though, because when I was sipping it, it was very dry. It was drying out my mouth. But now after, and the finish is still going, but the finish is actually making my mouth water now. That's an interesting ride on Granny's Batch. Very cool. Okay, Boston's Batch. Now this one is 6 years, 3 months, 10 days, 63.25%. Oh, wow. This one's very bready, very sweet, very vanilla, almost like cookie batter. It's weird to go from brownie batter to more of a cookie batter, like lighter, brighter, more vanilla'd, like, and still retaining some of that chocolate, so it's like a chocolate chip cookie batter. Or cookie dough, excuse me. It's not batter, cookie dough. A little bit of rye. A hint of that cola note that I was finding in 2019, at the end of 2019. Way spicier on the palate than the 01. But the spice like blooms and then subsides almost immediately, and then goes into just a little tickle on the back of your throat. The rye comes forward on the palate. The rye shows up more on the nose after tasting it. And it's it's funny, this one is the most complex rye notes that I've had recently on Booker's. It's got that menthol, it's got that mint, it's got the little eucalyptus note, that evergreen. Wow. It's funny that this comes so rye forward after tasting it, because it on first glance it was just a touch of rye, and then it's huge rye. Oh, oh, oh. And then on the next sip, the rye is gone again, like way under, and now it's super, super sweet cherry and vanilla, and salted caramel, salty peanuts. wow, now back to rye, more rye again. I love it when a bourbon just keeps changing from one sip to the next. That's a bourbon I could sip all day long. Oh, just sit with and just sip on it. Just take tiny, tiny little tastes and experience each transition, each change in the palate, and then back to the nose and the palate both keep changing in between each sip and each taste. It's like vanilla rye bread on the nose right now. And an open jar of pickles, like that dilly rye pickly note. Wow. Like you're eating rye bread with a jar of Clausen pickles right in front of you where you can smell it. Wow. That one just keeps changing. Now back to more chocolate. Wow. It's like a chocolate rye bread on that sip. That one, that is a standout batch because of that constantly changing, evolving palate and nose experience. That's like unicorn bourbon to me. I love that. I love that. Now there is a place for bourbons that stay consistent where it's every sip is the same. You know you enjoy it. But when I'm geeking out on whiskey, I love it when my perception of that whiskey keeps evolving and changing, and it keeps me interested, and I want to taste it again and smell it again, and I have to control myself to move on to 03 because I just want to sit here and drink that for 30 minutes and taste it and smell it and keep noticing these changes in these different notes. Wow, that's interesting. All right, 03 Pigskin Batch. Now this one I've had before, and this one's friggin' good. Oh, wow. Straight just milk chocolate. Like chocolate milk. Where you put way too much Hershey's in, and it gets that slightly metallic note to it. Brownie batter, sea salt caramel, vanilla. On the nose, very, very minor rye. Oh, man. Almost no peanut on the nose. Touch of artificial sweetness. Ooh. Oh. The rye shows up. Pinstripes on a race car. Right through the middle of the rye, of the flavor experience. Rye. Sandwiched between brownies, caramel, like monster brownies with all the stuff on it, and then nuts start to show up. So there's nuts in the brownie batter. The nose now is more rye. It's like you dumped rye in that chocolate milk. Getting a little bit of that pickly note, a little bit of the dill. Oh, man. Oh, that's a thick, hearty rye bread with butter on it. Toasted. Wow. All right, this year's going to be... 2020 is going to be a problem. All three of these are really good. Let's see if my smart water can increase my IQ level enough to where I can figure out which one is the best. Oh yeah, I feel myself getting smarter already. Smartwater did not sponsor this video in any way. All views, comments, and opinions of the performer in this video do not reflect upon Smartwater. Wow. Coming back. Wow. Coming back to Granny's batch, the 01. It's like a peanut butter sandwich on rye bread. Coming back to 2020-02, big rye notes, textured in with all those other nice notes, but this is a bigger rye note than 01. On this go round, 02 is less enjoyable than 01. Wow, that's really interesting. Huh. For me, in my opinion, I'm going to give it to the 2020-01. That's the prettiest, nicest, least off profile, least weird of these three. 2020-02, I absolutely enjoy the heck out of drinking because it keeps changing. 2020-03 is just monster good. Monster good. But I have to give it to 2020-01. So that's funny that those three were so good in a row. And then, you know, it's kind of a little off profile after that. And before that, off profile. Wow. All right. 2020-01 is the winner, which is Granny's batch. Cool. So now we've gone through all of the years worth of Bookers that I have. So now it's time to pit the winners against each other and Booker's 30th to see who is the greatest Bookers of them all. Stay tuned. Until next time, have a great day.